application will be loaded into that space. ठीक है, तो चौथी एप्लीकेशन को पहली एप्लीकेशन से रिप्लेस कर दिया, राइट. Now if you switch back to application number 1 again, suppose आपको लगा कि अभी मुझे application 1 में फिर से कुछ काम है और मुझे वो उसमें फिर से जाना है application number 1 में, ठीक है. Right. Agar if you go back there, then again that application number 1 will be loaded into your RAM and say some another application will be removed from the RAM. So this type of the switching will always keep on taking place. That is why your RAM will never go out of the memory space. मतलब वो कभी भी ऐसा नहीं होगा कि RAM is full and it cannot load this application. ऐसा मैसेज आपको कभी नहीं आएगा. हाँ, because of this very rapid context switching. Rapid context switching मतलब अगर इस टाइप का context switching बहुत ही यूजर एक एप्लीकेशन से दूसरी एप्लीकेशन बहुत जल्दी फास्टर मूव करता रहता है. So because of that, what can happen is your RAM may slower down, the switching process may slower down, and because of that you will find out some lagging kind of the thing. अब लैगिंग का मतलब यही है कि थोड़ा आपको परफॉर्मेंस में, आपको स्पीड में डिक्रीज देखने को मिलेगा. आप एक एप्लीकेशन से दूसरी एप्लीकेशन में इजीली स्विच नहीं कर पाओगे और वो सिस्टम स्लोअर हो जाएगा और यू विल हैव टू वेट फॉर सम पीरियड ऑफ टाइम फॉर दैट एप्लीकेशन टू लोड. ठीक है, तो इसकी वजह से परफॉर्मेंस लोअर हो जाएगा. बट अदर देन दैट ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप किसी चौथी या पांचवी एप्लीकेशन को ओपन ही नहीं कर पा रहे हो. नो, दैट विल नॉट हैपन. ठीक है, कर पाओगे, लेकिन मे बी इट माइट हैपन दैट इफ द एप्लीकेशन इज वेरी हैवी then it will require some time to be loaded, and that because of that lagging will be seen. ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है ये?
Long way to go with 9 rounds in a row to even equalize the scoreline with Team Mahi.
समझ में आ रहा है?
1 round win need 2, and that is their luck is good, and Raichu is whiffing initially, but will manage to get the kill down properly.
Honestly expected a nice kill coming from Raichu.
Okay, any doubts?
Their luck is good. Just be the cherry on top as NotFox lands not only 1 but 2, and that is their luck is good, and Raichu is whiffing initially, but will manage to get the kill down onto NotFox.
No, mate.
Honestly expected a nice kill coming from Raichu is because the way he was staring at C in the last few seconds, I actually expected that there will be a nice kill coming in, but that's gonna that losing that round is what gonna hurt SCTUR.
So they have said in your textbook that there are 2 types of the RAM, that is the static RAM and the dynamic RAM, right? Now these are the 2 types, or we can say the 2 categories of the RAM. Now you don't have to study about these types of the RAM in detail. The only thing you just need to understand is that the dynamic RAM is more powerful as compared to your static one. ठीक है, तो स्टैटिक रैम की कंपैरिजन में द डायनामिक रैम इज मोर पावरफुल. इट इज ओनली दैट बिकॉज इट विल प्रोवाइड यू द बेटर स्टोरेज स्पेस एंड द स्विचिंग थिंग व्हिच इज देयर, the switching concept which is there, that switching concept will be faster in case of your dynamic RAM as compared to your static RAM. Also dynamic RAM में read write speed जो होती है, the read write speed is higher as compared to that of the static RAM. So that is why your dynamic RAM is comparatively more powerful and more better as compared to the static RAM. Understood? Next is about the ROM. Now we will study about ROM. RAM is now finished. Now next category we will study about that is ROM. Now ROM means read-only memory. The full form of your ROM is read-only memory. As the name itself suggests, read-only. So what will happen is you only can read the data from ROM. यानी कि आप ROM में से, ये ROM means your hard disk. So basically ROM means your hard disk only. ठीक है? तो hard disk में से you can only perform the read operation. You can only read the data. You cannot write data into your hard disk. If you want to write something, it means the write operation will always be performed in the RAM only. Okay? So no write operation will be performed on the data which is there in the ROM. Understood? Now this is your permanent storage, or we can say it is a non-volatile storage. Why it is called permanent or non-volatile storage? Because even if you turn off or switch off your system, the data which is there on the ROM will not be deleted or it will not be erased off. ठीक है, जैसे कि अगर मेरी कोई फाइल है, मैंने मेरे डी ड्राइव में या फिर मेरे किसी डी ड्राइव के अंदर मेरा कोई फोल्डर है, उसके अंदर मैंने सेव करके रखा है, it means it is there in my room. And even after turning off my computer, when I again turn on my computer after say 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, or even after 1 hour, 2 hours, I'll still find that file in my system, right? It will not be erased off or it will not be deleted because it is a permanent storage, or we can say it is a non-volatile storage space. Right? Now, what all components are there on your ROM? So your ROM basically will consist of the operating system, as well as it will consist of the BIOS, that is basic input output system. Now, what is this BIOS or basic input output system that I have told you, right? It is a program which will allow you to interact with the system even when your operating system is not installed. ठीक है, अगर आपके सिस्टम के अंदर ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम भी नहीं है, तभी भी अगर आपको आपके सिस्टम के साथ इंटरेक्ट करना है आपको, तो आप क्या कर सकते हो, बायस का यूज करते। फॉर एग्जाम्पल से अगर आप किसी ने खुद से ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम इंस्टॉल किया रहेगा कंप्यूटर में, तो उनको आइडिया होगा whenever what happens whenever you try to install the operating system, you will first find some messages on your screen written, and you will just be allowed to operate with your keyboard only, right? So keyboard is your basic input and your basic output is nothing but your monitor screen. Whatever monitor screen it is, that is your basic output, right? Say for example, to load the operating system or to boot this device, press F8. ऐसे करके आपको मैसेज आएगा, फिर आप F8 प्रेस करोगे, फिर आपको ऑप्शंस आएंगे. What do you want to do with this? Do you want to install this software? Do you want to recover it, or you want to update the software? ऐसे करके आपको messages आएंगे. And accordingly, with the arrow keys, you have to select whatever operation you want to do, and this way you will be interacting with your system. Now, this kind of the interaction that you do with your keyboard and your display, that is nothing but your BIOS basically. तो जब आपके सिस्टम में अगर ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम भी इंस्टॉल नहीं है और आपको सिस्टम के साथ इंटरेक्ट करना है, तो हम BIOS का यूज करते हैं, which is my basic input output system. Understood? Clear? Is this much clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So next we will go to the types of the ROM. Now there are certain types of ROM. The first one in that is your PROM, that is programmable read-only memory. This PROM, PROM stands for programmable read-only memory. Now, what do you understand by this programmable read-only memory? See, programmable read-only memory means that your ROM, it can be programmed. The ROM can be programmed, but it can be programmed only once. Now, there is a limitation that it can be programmed only once. Now, what do you understand by programming of ROM? Programming of ROM means that जब हम लोग सिस्टम में हार्ड डिस्क इंस्टॉल करते, हार्ड डिस्क डालते हैं, राइट? तो हार्ड डिस्क में हम certain amount of the partitioning we decide, right? We fix some partitioning and we call it as drives, right? जैसे C ड्राइव बनाया, D ड्राइव बनाया, E ड्राइव बनाया, ठीक है? Depending upon the amount storage, total storage capacity of your hard disk, you will decide the partitioning of your hard disk. तो आप उसको partition करोगे और हर एक partition को आप कुछ amount of the storage space allocate करोगे. से C ड्राइव को मैंने से सपोज मेरी एक 1 GB की या फिर नॉट 1 GB बट लेट अस कंसीडर 50 GB की हार्ड डिस्क है, तो मैंने 25 GB सी ड्राइव को दिया, 10 GB डी ड्राइव को दिया एंड रिमेनिंग 5 GB मैंने से रिमेनिंग 20 GB से मैंने ई ड्राइव के लिए रखा. So that is nothing but that is programming of your hard disk. Programming of the hard disk means basically deciding the amount of the storage for your hard disk partitioning. How will you partition your hard disk? आप कितने portions में उसको participate कर रहे हो और partition कर रहे हो, and what amount of the storage space you are allocating to each of the partition, right? So that is known as programming. Now over here in programmable read-only memory, what will happen is that this was used in the earlier days, and earlier it was not allowed to program it again and again. Program it again and again means जैसे आजकल अगर हम आजकल की बात करें तो हम नॉर्मली क्या करते हैं, अगर मेरे सिस्टम में मुझे कुछ इधर उधर लगता है या कभी वायरस आ गया ऐसा कुछ हो गया तो हम हार्ड डिस्क को फॉर्मेट कर देते हैं. फॉर्मेट करने के बाद हम क्या करते हैं, जब हम ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम वापस से इंस्टॉल करते हैं तो हम सबसे पहले हार्ड डिस्क की पार्टीशनिंग करते हैं, सी ड्राइव डी ड्राइव क्रिएट करते हैं और फिर हम उसे स्टोरेज स्पेस एलोकेट करते हैं अपनी मर्जी के हिसाब से. तो आजकल ये पैटर्न चलता है, आप लोग ये कर सकते हो एंड यू कैन डू इट न्यूमरस अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम्स. न्यूमरस अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम्स मींस लाइक इट इज नॉट अनलिमिटेड, it is obviously limited over here also. It is limited to some 10 or 100 times only. More than that, if you do it, then the lifespan of your device will be at risk. Okay, so you do it nowadays, but in earlier days you could not do it. In earlier days it could be programmed only once by the manufacturer, and the manufacturer was the only person who used to decide the partitioning space of the hard disk, and they used to program it and then give it to the user. Okay, so that thing is written over here. The basic difference between the ROM and the PROM is that in case of ROM, manufacturer decides the data of memory, and in case of PROM, the user can decide the data of the memory by special method of programming, but it can be programmed only once. That is what is written. PROM is programmed, but it can be programmed only once. ठीक है, तो आप एक ही बार फॉर्मेट करके एक ही बार में उसको आप डिसाइड कर सकते हो. उसके बाद after that you cannot reprogram it again. That is about PROM, right? Now EPROM, that is erasable programmable read only memory. So what is that erasable programmable read only memory? Now, as the name suggests, it can be erased and reprogrammed again and again. मतलब क्या, हम इसको जो मेरी हार्ड डिस्क है, जो मेरा रोम है, उसे हम बार बार फॉर्मेट कर सकते हैं and we can reprogram it the number of times we want to, right? Now how this is made possible? So this is made possible by using the UV rays, right? So ultraviolet rays, that ultraviolet rays, they are reflected, they are exposed to the hard disk. Because of the exposure of this ultraviolet rays on the hard disk, whatever electronic data is there on my hard disk, electronic data bolo ya fir digital data jo bhi hum bolte hain, that digital data will be lost, because the UV rays, they have such intensity that they can erase off your binary or the electronic data. So all that electronic or the digital data which is there on the hard disk, it can be erased off with the help of the exposure of the hard disk to the UV rays. And this is how you format your hard disk over here in erasable programmable read-only memory. And after it is formatted or the data on the hard disk is erased, then you can reprogram it as per your choice. And this procedure can be done again and again as the number of times the user want to do that. ठीक है, इसके बाद एक दूसरी method है of programming your ROM. It is E-square PROM, right? What is that E-square PROM? Over here, this E-square, or we can say the double EPROM, The full form of this EEPROM is electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. So now over here, your ROM can be programmed, but it can be programmed with the help of the electrical erasing of the data, right? So this is again another method of erasing the data on the ROM and reprogramming it. Now over here, in EEPROM, what will happen is the data will be erased with the help of the electrical voltage. The data will be erased with the help of the electrical voltage. Now, which electrical voltage is this? This electrical voltage, it is the voltage which is a little higher than your normal electric voltage. Now, what do you understand by the voltage higher than normal electric voltage? So voltage higher than normal electric voltage over here will be 6 volt or 7 volt or up to 10 volts, we can say. Why? Because we know that all my electronic components, they have their operating voltage, which is 5 volt, right? And whatever we are receiving is my 110 volt, right? So this 110 volt, if I apply it directly, then my entire device would be damaged. So what we have to do is, if I want to erase my data, I just have to apply the voltage which is little higher than the operating voltage of my device. If I do it in a proper, correct manner, then the data which is there on my component, it will be erased off without damaging my component, right? If you apply the entire voltage, 110 volt together at a time, then your entire component only will get damaged off. Then you will not even be able to reprogram it again, right? Or it will be burnt off. The entire component will burn up, right? But if you apply a voltage which is little higher than its operating voltage, which is operating voltage मतलब 5 volt, and little higher का मतलब है 5 volt से थोड़ा सा ज्यादा 6 volt या 7 volt आप दे दो, ठीक है? तो इतना अगर आप दोगे, then what will happen is the data which is there, the electronic data or the binary data which is there on the device, it will be erased off, right? And after erasing, you can reprogram it as per your choice. समझ में आ रहा है? Is clear?
Yes, miss.
Yes or no? Okay. So this is about the EEPROM, that is EEPROM, electrically erasable read-only memory. Any doubts?
No, miss.
Okay, today we'll stop over here. From the next lecture, we will start discussing about the controllers. Clear? Any doubts if you have in ROM types of memories, you all can ask. This type of memories के अंदर, the difference between RAM and ROM can be asked for 3 marks. So in that difference, you just have to write the difference between RAM and ROM. For example, the difference between RAM and ROM is like RAM, it is a temporary storage. ROM is a permanent storage, right? It is also known as volatile storage. RAM is also known as volatile storage space. ROM is known as the non-volatile storage space, right? Then RAM can go out of memory, it can never run out of space. ROM can go out of memory space, right? Then you can write another point that whenever the system is switched off, the data which is there on the RAM will be erased. On the contrary, for the ROM, we know that even if the system is switched off, the data will not be erased, right? Then you can write about the types. The types of RAM are static RAM and dynamic RAM. Types of ROM are ROM, double Chrome, etc. So this kind of the points you can write for the difference between RAM and ROM. It is important for 3 marks, the difference between RAM and ROM from this topic. Another important theory from this topic is for 3
a game of Valorant where you expect certain things but it doesn't happen just because the timing is incorrect. It looks like Team Mai has